What's good, football fans? Back at you once again with another video. And my original plans were to come on and do a defensive All-22 this week as well. But I got caught up, had a whole lot of things going on in real life, and didn't have the time. But I wanted to come on today and talk a little bit about this week's opponent, the New York Football Giants, who you don't have to be a fan of this team very long to know that this is the team that is the thorn in our side. Historically, we may hate Dallas, we may despise Philly, whatever the case may be. New York has always gotten the best of us. And their coach over there, what's his name, Brian DeBull, he hasn't had the greatest success since being in New York, but I don't think he's lost a game against Washington. Like, he literally owned Ron Rivera. And Daniel Jones historically has done well against the Burgundy and Gold. That said, let's just jump right into it. The number one thing that worries me with the Giants, without a doubt, is their defensive line. Dexter Lawrence is a complete beast. Now watch what he did in week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings, who really had no answer for him except for to double team him pretty much every chance they got, whether it be with a running back here and there trying to chip or whatever it was. And when they didn't, he caused problems, like this play right here where he almost got it Darnold. I mean, he was like right there, just a couple of half steps away from making that play in right there at the line of scrimmage. And even though he wasn't able to end that play at the line of scrimmage, he was able to put his hand on the ball. And yeah, man, he forced a turnover with just simply putting his hand up right as he got to the line of scrimmage. And look, he hits that ball just flails around like a dead duck, and it's intercepted. Now in this play right here, they double teamed him and he still made his way through pretty much without any issues. I mean, it's like a couple of children trying to block a grown man right here. I mean, he is a complete monster and there's nothing they can do about it. Yeah, I mean, he almost gets that quarterback again. Props to Darnold for being able to stand in there and complete the pass. I mean, yeah, check that out. Right here, he just bull rushes the center. I mean, they choose not to double team him right here, and they kind of, he kind of makes them pay for it. He takes and pushes that center right back into the quarterback. And interestingly enough, Osborne almost makes this catch over here on the side. The ball just bounces out right there as the defender and him meet it at the same time. These big guys up front on the defensive line, sometimes it never ceases to amaze me the amount of power and the amount of control that they have of the line of scrimmage. I mean, this guy just stands there and holds 2 linemen straight up in the air. Well, actually, he starts off with 2 linemen on him, but he holds 1 man straight up in the air with 1 hand. And whenever he decides, he lets go of that man and becomes havoc on the ball. You see that? I mean, and he just pushes that man completely down. I realized that somebody else had his center of gravity. But yeah, I mean, and he's nasty. Look at that nastiness out of him. Wherever he lines up Sunday, Washington's going to have to put a couple of hats on this guy, and they're going to have to make sure that the quarterback is protected. Now, I don't think that he's going to catch up to Jaden Daniels in any kind of shape, way, or form, like in a running contest, but this guy definitely can put pressure on any quarterback in the NFL and open it up for those guys on the edge over there. And Lawrence is good against the rush, too. If you watch this play right here, he is not fooled one bit. He moves his way down the line of scrimmage, does exactly what he wants, and then pounces on the runner. Now, obviously, as you see right there, he wasn't able to bring that man down, but he ended the play where it was heading. He stopped that right in his tracks. You see it from the line of scrimmage way. You'll see that the runner had to turn back, and he didn't gain anything there in the process. But he had no choice but to cut that outside. Again, their guard tries to take him on right here, one-on-one, and pushes him right back into the quarterback. And as you see over there on the edge, there's a man coming around, almost gets him. Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. Right here, the offensive lineman kind of gets a little nasty back, takes a little shot to his helmet, to his face mask right there. Otherwise, Lawrence might have made his way through the line of scrimmage right there and put his hands on Darnold, because really the only thing that stopped his momentum was that shot to the face, and the referees missed that. But yeah. But yeah, as you see, he was still controlling things. He just had to kind of get pulled to the side there and lost his momentum. And it should also be pointed out that this touchdown pass right here to Jefferson is over Banks. You remember the guy from Maryland that everybody was big on and said that we messed up by not taking? I was looking over the film from last week. He really hasn't done all of that much, as far as since he became an NFL cornerback. And he definitely didn't do all that much in week 1. Of course, he did have to face probably the best wide receiver in the game right now. The lineman actually gets a pretty decent win right here on Lawrence. On this play right here, he pushes him out and keeps him away just enough so that Darnold can get rid of that ball. I was talking a minute ago about Lawrence being a disruptor and that the guys on the edge, being able to take advantage of that. And they have a couple of guys, that are real good on these edges over here. Number 0 over there, Brian Burns, and I believe Thibodeau over there is number 5. Both of these guys had the ability to get to the quarterback. Although, in my opinion, I think Thibodeau is a little bit overrated, but that's just my opinion. Burns is the real deal over there, though. As you see, he makes this turn right here, and that lineman kind of gets away with hooking him a little bit, but he almost makes that sack right here. This is the only play I really saw him do a whole lot against the Vikings. They had a good game plan against him. But in this play right here, you see Lawrence over there wreaking havoc on those 2 linemen, and he causes a little problem, puts a little pressure on that quarterback right there too. Now in this play right here, he finally hits home, and this, my friends, is what I'm worried about. I'm worried about him getting around our interior. I do think that Sam Cosmi, has his hands full if this guy is coming off of that side all day long. They like to move him around, so we could see him up against several different people. But Cosmi as a whole, if the Vikings tape is any tell at all, he's probably going to be lining up over there, over top of him. But this play right here, he's able to get around that guard after bull rushing him and then putting a move on him there at the end, and just pure power moves here, okay? This guy is a pure power rusher. He's able to push through and get his hands on that quarterback. On this play, he damn near gets in there for a safety. He puts his hand just a couple of seconds away from being a sack right there. A couple split seconds, I should say, away from being a sack right there. And the next play, this guy is all over the lineman here and just putting on a clinic on some of these guys now. He barely misses Darnold right here. Darnold is a little bit more mobile, I think, than we've ever really given him credit for, but Darnold is able to make him miss and then slip the pocket and get out and make some, gain some yardage on this so he not only doesn't take a loss by almost getting sacked right there. Man, Lawrence literally almost had him. But he's able to actually come out this direction and put some yards together before he slides. Was that a good 4, 5, 6 yards? And as I already said, this guy's power rush is really good. And against the run, he could be a complete animal as well. Look at this. They figure, hey, we'll double team him and this won't cause no issues. And he pushes the double team over, puts his hands on the running back, and damn near tackles that running back in the backfield. The running back is actually lucky to get back across the line of scrimmage and out, of the end zone in the process. As I've already said about Daniel Jones, this guy, for some reason, just does well against Washington. I know it's the New York curse, call it what you want. Brian DeBull's done well against us as well, but against other teams, he has not done well at all. He's done horrible. He's turned the ball over constantly. Giants fans are so frustrated with his inability to be consistent on any level at all. And you got half Giant fan base over there wanting to get rid of him, the other half wanting to wait on him. But when it comes down to it, this guy's done well against, Washington. But has he really done all that well against Dan Quinn is the real question here. And I'm interested in seeing what Quinn pulls out, or what the defense, what that staff pulls out against a team that they know pretty well, actually, since they've been coaching against them over in Dallas for several seasons now. So we shall see what they pull out of the hat. I realize that we're deep in the middle of a rebuild here. We need constant pieces. There's tons of things that need to be changed for this to be all able to work. We really don't know what we have heading into week 2, though. That's, the love and the hate of the NFL is you don't know what you got heading into week 2 until you see them play. What I'm hoping for is that we see an improvement on the defensive side of the ball. They did not look good last week. We'll get a test seeing them against Daniel Jones this week, which historically the franchise has struggled against. Obviously, this team is a new team, so we'll see which direction that heads in. The New York defense worries me a little bit. They have pieces on the defensive line to be able to get in and wreak havoc on an offense. The line did look better last week, so let's hope that that adds up to them being able to protect the quarterback and, put some points on the board this week. Now, last week they had to take on what I would think is probably a little bit better defense, with Todd Bowles being a guy that constantly looks to blitz and pressure and throw things at a rookie quarterback that maybe he hasn't seen that much of, or maybe he's just trying to feel his way around things. They don't get a whole lot of time in preseason now. At any rate, going against the Giants cannot be taken lightly. I mean, it's an NFC East division rival game, and the Giants, you can't look at their week 1 game and gauge them. Last year they came out and fell flat on their face. I think they're like one of the first teams in a few decades to come out and get blown out in the first week a couple seasons in a row. It's like, I believe it's like last year they lost like 24-0 or by 24 points or whatever it was. I can't really remember who they played now, but I know they got blown out in week 1. It might have been the Cowboys. Was the Cowboys? Don't hold my feet to the fire on that. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, this is a game that Washington is going to have to create some turnovers in and win that battle. It's going to be a rough and tough fight down in the trenches, though, because we got some nasties, on the defensive front, and they got some nasties on the defensive front. Dexter Lawrence, you guys should call him the one-man gang. The dude is nasty. At any rate, let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments. And as always, reach up there and hit that thumbs up button before you leave. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. Y'all take it easy. Peace.